The sun hung high over Buckhead, one of Atlanta, Georgia's most affluent neighborhoods. Glass-clad skyscrapers sparkled under the afternoon sun, their reflections bouncing onto the bustling streets below, where luxury cars cruised effortlessly, exuding quiet power and wealth. Inside Kingsley Elite Motors, a car dealership renowned for its high-end clientele, Veronica Miles stood behind a polished mahogany desk, overseeing the showroom like royalty surveying her court. At 49, Veronica was a seasoned veteran in luxury auto sales, having carved her reputation over more than 2 decades. But she wasn't just a manager. She was the gatekeeper, ensuring that only the elite left with keys to one of the gleaming vehicles on display. She prided herself on her intuition. Veronica could spot a serious buyer from across the room. She could smell wealth, status, and intention. She also believed she could identify who didn't belong. The soft chime above the glass door interrupted her thoughts. She barely glanced up before seeing him. A tall man, mid-40s, with broad shoulders and a calm demeanor. He wore a simple gray hoodie, dark denim jeans, and sneakers worn down from years of use. His stride was relaxed, his expression unreadable, but there was a confidence in the way he moved. He took in the expansive showroom, the gleaming Range Rovers, the polished Mercedes, the perfectly lit display of luxury. His eyes lingered momentarily on a 2024 Range Rover Autobiography, its jet black finish glistening under the lights. Veronica's judgment was swift, not a buyer. She tilted her head toward Derek, one of her top sales associates. "Don't waste your time," she murmured, her diamond bracelet catching the light as she adjusted it. "He's just browsing." Derek hesitated. "You sure?" "He seems." "I'm sure." Veronica cut him off, her voice crisp. Derek had been around long enough to know better than to argue. Veronica's instincts rarely failed her. But as he glanced at the man again, he felt a twinge of doubt. The man, meanwhile, was now at the Range Rover. His fingers lightly traced the edge of the door handle, feeling the cool metal beneath his touch. Then, with deliberate calm, he turned and made his way toward Veronica. "Excuse me," he said, his voice smooth but unassuming. "I'm interested in that Range Rover over there. I'd like to know more about it." Veronica barely concealed her exasperation. She'd seen this before. People coming in for a thrill, hoping for a quick test drive in a car they had no intention of buying. "That's the 2024 Autobiography," she said curtly. "Top of the line. Fully loaded. $165,000. The man nodded. "Sound perfect." Veronica folded her arms. "We have financing options, but for a vehicle like that, substantial credit or full payment up front is required." "I won't need financing," he replied calmly. She let out a polite, hollow chuckle. "Of course. But before we proceed, it's company policy to run a soft credit check." Derek stiffened. That wasn't company policy. The man showed no emotion. He simply pulled a sleek black card holder from his pocket and placed it on the desk. "I'd like to take it for a test drive." Veronica's smile thinned. "We don't offer test drives on high-value vehicles without verified proof of income. I'm sure you understand." The man's lips twitched into the barest hint of a smile, as if he had expected this. "Oh, I understand." There was a stillness to him, a patience that unsettled Derek. The man wasn't flustered, angry, or embarrassed. He was simply waiting. "What if I pay in cash?" the man asked. "Would that change your policy?" Veronica nearly laughed. "We still require standard protocols. Policies exist for a reason." "I see." He placed his hands in his pockets, observing her with quiet amusement. "So, what exactly does a serious buyer look like to you?" Her throat tightened. "Sir, I'm following company guidelines. If you're not ready to proceed under those terms, I'll have to assist other clients." Derek braced for the man to argue. Instead, he simply nodded. "Understood." He turned and strolled away, his pace unhurried. But Derek noticed the calculation in his movements, the way he lingered near a Mercedes-Benz G-Class, running his hand along its chrome detailing as though he were taking inventory. Jenna, a junior sales associate, tentatively approached him. "Can I help you with that one?" "Actually," he said, his tone light. "I was looking at the Range Rover earlier, but I was told I couldn't test drive it unless I proved I was serious." "That true?" Jenna hesitated, glancing nervously at Veronica, who had already crossed the room. "Jenna, I've got this," Veronica said sharply. The man chuckled softly. "You really run a tight ship here." "We have standards," Veronica replied, her professional mask firmly in place. "Right." He rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "Let's make this simple. I'll write a check now, full price. No financing. No games." Derek's heart raced. This wasn't normal. Veronica hesitated. "That's generous, but I still need documentation." The man calmly pulled out his wallet and flipped it open. A black American Express Centurion card gleamed under the showroom lights. Derek sucked in a breath. Veronica, however, maintained her composure, though her jaw tightened. "No test drive?" he asked again, his voice laced with dry amusement. "I'm afraid not," she replied. The man studied her for a beat, then nodded. "Got it." He strolled away, but Derek's gut twisted. Something was coming. Moments later, the glass doors opened again. In walked a man in a tailored navy suit, mid-50s, with salt and pepper hair and an aura of authority. Samuel Brooks, the regional director. MS. "Miles," he greeted smoothly, but his eyes were locked on the man in the hoodie. "Daniel, I was just about to call you." Veronica's face drained of color. Daniel smiled, this time fully. "Good to see you, Sam. Thought I'd stop by." Samuel clapped him on the back. "Everyone, meet Daniel Carter, the new CEO of Kingsley Elite Motors." The words echoed through the showroom. Veronica's heart sank. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Daniel looked at her, calm and unreadable. "MS. Miles, you just refused to sell a car to your new boss." A heavy silence filled the room. Veronica stammered, "Mr. Carter, I was following policy." "Really?" Daniel cut in. "Because Sam here just confirmed that running a credit check before a test drive isn't policy." Her throat tightened. Daniel exhaled slowly. "You judged me the moment I walked in. You made assumptions. You dismissed me. Mr. Carter, you doubled down even after I made it clear I could pay in full. That's not how I want my dealerships run." Veronica's polished mask cracked. "I've been with this company for years." And that's the problem," Daniel replied coolly. "You've been doing this for years. And today, you showed me exactly why change is necessary." The final blow came soft but heavy. "You're done here." Veronica froze. For the first time, she had no retort, no way out. She'd lost everything in a matter of minutes. Her reputation, her control, her job. Daniel turned to Samuel. "We need to reevaluate our hiring and training. This is bigger than one person. It's about the culture we're fostering." "Understood," Samuel replied solemnly. Daniel glanced around the room. "Because no one should be judged based on appearances." That ends today. As he left the showroom, employees exchanged glances, the weight of the moment sinking in. It wasn't just about Veronica. It was about the deeper, systemic issues she had embodied. Veronica stood frozen, realizing too late that the only person who had judged incorrectly was her. Sometimes it's not the policies that need changing, it's the people enforcing them.